Today, Precarious plays
Lost Kingdoms 2. Well, listen, what I'm saying is I'm two important food groups. I'm highly sought after because it's poultry and like a savory meat.
Oh gosh, you're actually 3 meats. Because you've got that egg. Got that gooey egginess.
I don't think I like the direction this conversation. Hey, I got all 4 swords.
Cool! Let's change the subject and I'm not going to eat
I'm not
you.
gonna. I don't want to. Let's change the subject before I implicate myself.
Pardon me.
Can I do this with the cards that I have? With the cards that I have at home?
Oh! So, speaking of watching gardening.
Speaking of implicating oneself.
Speaking of gardening.
Oh no, hold on, wait.
Yeah.
I want to say hi, I'm Sam B, and I'm responsible for 20 unsolved murders.
That was so good.
Where was it? Along like the Florida coast? Oh, I can't remember. That was a good one.
Yeah. Okay, well, the cool thing about gardening is all of the accessories that you can now have an excuse for purchasing. There are so many different, like, gardening tools. I was under the impression that... Okay, let's be real. All you need is shovel, dirt, water, and sometimes you can be missing one or more of those things, depending on the plant, right? But if you really get into it, you can have shovels, you can have clippers, you can have different shaped shovels, you can have a variety of hoes, like lots of different drills and special boards and special tubs and special clippers. Not the scissor kind, but you have the kind that slice and the kind that are guillotine cutters. And then you have scythes. Scythes are a legitimate way to care for a garden. It's a lot. There's a lot. And there are little hole diggers for digging holes.
And little snaz berries for sniffing snaz berries.
And there are lots of fancy words.
Tell me some of them. Tell me them now. Inquiring minds.
Espalier.
Ooh, that's not a real word. Give me another one.
It's a real word. Secateur.
Okay. Still don't believe you.
Okay.
But keep going.
Okay.
More words, more knowledge. Even if you're making it up on the spot, which I know you are, don't lie to me. I'm calling the police.
Oh, I wish I could remember some of the good flower names.
I wish I hadn't used all my banshees on the way to this enemy.
Multiflora.
Oof.
I can't remember any of the flower names right now. I'm a bad student, okay? But I wasn't there for the flowers. I'm there for the tomatoes. I don't think I'll ever get tired of hearing... Oh, what is his name?
Nigel Thornberry.
His dog's name is Nigel. His name is not Nigel. It's just his dog's name.
Okay.
And I can't remember his name, but he has a really appropriate name. And it's killing me right now.
Wellington Plantman.
No. And the garden's called Long Meadow, thank you very much. Which is a charming ass name for a garden. I have to find it out.
Let's see if my ruse works. I don't think that this was the proper matchup. Yeah, it's not great.
What is his name? Anyways, gardening is super brutal.
Okay, so he's down, and Okay, his little soul fell out, which I think is good enough for me. I'll come back here on my own time after confirming online what exactly is supposed to happen there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the tough enemy of that place.
And now it's set up.
Yeah, even if that one didn't count, even if I was off on my timing, once I've confirmed exactly how to exploit this later, I'll be able to do it.
Ooh!
Ooh?
His name is Monty Dawn. Like daylight. It's not spelled that way, but that's how he pronounces it. His name is Monty Dawn. Monty sounds like mountains.
Because my thought was, so it's like you rub them on baby seal?
What?
Right? Yeah. Rub them on a baby seal.
Anyway.
Or is it otters?
Monty Dawn?
No. Dawn dish detergent.
Oh!
They do it in all the ads.
Yeah. You rub it on anything that has too much grease on it, including baby seals and otters. You were right on both accounts. I wasn't thinking about that.
Heck yeah.
And ducks and birds and shirts. You know. Anything you want to get rid of grease on. Ah.
I think that there's one here. Yeah. Yeah, might as well grab this.
Gardening is brutal. Do you believe me?
I believe you because I've gone and I've been on a farm before. And I mean like a commercial farm.
Yeah.
It's all you have to do is imagine like tiny little baby persons instead of tiny little baby berries.
Yeah.
Just like they've grown too many and they've fallen off the bush and they're just left to rot and feed their family.
Well, when you're doing super fancy flower gardening and trying to make your roses be healthy and produce and things like that, really like 90% of fancy gardening just has to do with a single tool, and they're called secateurs, and they're basically a fancy set of pruners, and you just prune and prune and prune. You just chop shit up in a tactical way. That's just all of the work of gardening. Like, it's more important than watering stuff almost.
I haven't watched an episode with you, but I've overheard several.
Yeah.
And there was definitely a moment where I was listening in and I thought like, wow, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough advice. Because I think somebody said something to the effect of like, the key to having a good garden is to just don't expect much.
Yeah, well, that's...
Just try again. Keep a stiff upper lip and just for the first few years, be prepared to dump hundreds of dollars in and
it's gonna be shit.
Not have much to show for it.
Just take your cuttings and you won't lose anything but time, and we're all inching toward the grave. It's like... Gardening is like really hardcore. I mean, especially very fancy gardening. The fancier the garden, the more hardcore it is, because half of it is actually getting rid of plant growth to make it grow elsewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, though?
Some plants work better if you stress them out.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, they change color. Some plants are deliberately infected with viruses so that they will have striation in their leaves because they're prettier that way. And you have to prune them to keep them from getting well.
Oh, wow.
To keep the color in them. And I'm like, I'm never doing that. I will tie up my tomatoes, though. You know?
But only because the tomatoes are into it.
Well... They are. It's like they need it or something.
Hey, no fruit kink shaming.
Yeah.
They're into what they're into.
I mean, tomatoes are blush colored for a reason. That's all I'm going to say.
Good one. And they are technically a fruit, right?
Yeah.
I hate that. hate that so much.
But there are so many.
Oops, wrong card. So sorry, friend.
Well, and there are lots of differences between the scientific term for fruit. When something when a plant fruits, it doesn't always produce a fruit.
Ooh, fruit as a verb.
Yeah. So like grass fruits, but it's not fruiting like producing a fruit. It's fruiting like the seed process.
Does grass have to fruit for an herbivore to graze on it?
No.
Oh.
Grass, whenever it puts seed, like some plants grow from seed and some plants grow from roots. And some plants do it both ways. So there are
like those BDSM tomatoes.
Yeah. Well, actually, the BDSM tomatoes they only grow from fruit, as far as I know. I don't think that you can take a cutting from a tomato. Although you can graft tomatoes, apparently, which just seems like super Frankenstein mad science to me. I had no idea. But apparently you can graft one variety of tomato down to another variety of tomato to make them grow faster. And like when you get them, like they have like this seam, and I'm like, what? Put bolts in it, give it stitches, it's already green. Cool.
How close are we to the end of an episode? Because
we have arrived.
This looks important enough that I think it deserves a new one.
I would have to agree with you.